We are back here in Madden 25 franchise mode with another speed rebuild, and today we are doing the New York Giants. And so if you're new around here and you don't know what a speed rebuild is, basically it's just a challenge where I only get 10 minutes to make as many trades as possible to try and build up this team and win a Super Bowl in just one season. And a special thanks to this commenter for suggesting that I do the Giants in a future speed rebuild. So here we are with the Giants, 78 overall, 77 offense, 81 defense, and honestly, at a 77 overall for offense, I feel like that's very generous, because let's be real, this offense is not very good. You know, we need a quarterback, number one. There's really only like 2 players on this offense that I would say are like locked in to stay. Well, maybe 3. I guess Tyrone Tracy I'll probably keep, but Malik Neighbors, Andrew Thomas will for sure stay. I highly doubt I would trade them. But yeah, basically everyone besides those 2, maybe Tyrone Tracy stays as well, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, I'm willing to trade pretty much everyone on this offense besides, you know, those 2 of course. But yeah, we really need to make some major improvements if we want to win a Super Bowl here. And you know, no offense Giants fans, but I'm pretty sure you guys are immune to this kind of talk at this point anyways. But yeah, this is the offense. Defensive wise though, they do have a lot of talent on defense, like Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Bobby Okereke, Tyler Nubin's here, he's a rookie. They also got Drew Phillips in here as well, so they do have some talent around on defense. You know, again, 81 overall. We're not really in a position to contend for a Super Bowl with this defensive unit, but the defense is in a much better spot compared to the offense. So there will be less moves defensive wise, but regardless though, there's going to be a ton of moves both sides of the ball, because again, we are in literally no shape to contend for a Super Bowl. I've said that like 5 times already, but I mean, it needs to be known. So yeah, let's look at our draft picks. We are projected the 3rd pick, so that's very good. Our picks are going to have a lot of value here, especially considering how we're going to have to trade for a quarterback. Having high value picks for a position that's so hard to trade for is going to be very beneficial here. And alright, with all that being said, I think we should just go ahead and get started here. So I'm going to go ahead and start the timer here in 3, 2, 1. Alright, 10 minutes on the clock. So what I want to do first is trade for a quarterback, and what we're going to do, we're going to go for Justin Herbert, first things first. So we'll get him 86 overall, and then could we also get Asante Samuel, and then we don't really need an edge. Actually, what we could do, we could get Joey Bosa, and then we could trade Kayvon Thibodeau, or not Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and then who's our, like, Deonte Banks? Like, he should have good value. Maybe Cordell Flott, actually. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And then who would have, like, decent trade value that I could move? Like, I don't know, maybe, like, Evan Neal. I could put him in the deal. Actually, they don't really need a right tackle. They have Joe Alt, so maybe I'll take him out. And then they need a right guard. Center, I mean, we'll put John Michael Schmitz in the deal. And then let's just see, our first this year, pick 3 projected. Okay, yeah. So what about our first in 2027? Does this go through? Okay, what about if I include my second this year, pick 35? Does this deal go through? It's so close. I'll take John out of the deal. And then maybe my 4th from this year, and this goes through. Very close. My 3rd should get this deal done. You're actually kidding me. Okay, what about my 2nd from next year? This is a lot of draft capital, but I mean, if we can get the deal done, it's worth it. So we make a monster deal with the Chargers here, and we're just 1 minute 30 seconds off the clock, so we're in pretty good position right here. So I think next we need a wide receiver. We need one, I would say, like at least an 85 overall, and we need a lot of offensive linemen. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go to the Bills, get Amari Cooper, 85 overall, I believe. Yep, 85. And then Deion Dawkins, he's an 88. He might be pretty hard to get. So, well, he's 30, so he's going to be easier than Spencer Brown. And Connor McGovern as well would be nice. And then, like, I don't know, we could get Teron Johnson, but I mean, we need interior defensive linemen badly. Oh, we can't even include him. So yeah, we'll just go for these 3, and then we can flip We'll trade Wan'Dale Robinson because he should have more trade value than Darius Slayton. And then we just traded our, oh no, we didn't just trade our center. We could trade a tackle though, so we'll move, I don't know how to pronounce his name honestly. Or would Evan Neal have more? Yeah, Evan Neal would probably have more trade value because he's younger. So we'll just do this. I'll throw in a third. Probably won't go through, but I just want to see. Okay. Wow. So I do still have one first. I kind of want to save that. So for, okay, yeah. So we'll take Deion Dawkins out of the deal. We're not getting him. So, I mean, like, does this deal go through? It's very close. I could probably throw in a couple mid-round picks, and maybe this goes through for Amari Cooper, Connor McGovern, and it does. So they're staying in New York. Just move in a city over. Welcome to the team now, Amari Cooper, Connor McGovern. Those are two very good pickups. So wide receiver-wise, we're good. Still need some offensive linemen though. We are lacking in that department. So I would say we just pick up a tackle and a guard maybe. Like we can start Greg Van Roten, that's fine. But we'll probably have to move John Runyon for a guard. And then defensive interior, definitely need to work on that here. And I kind of stuttered there, so we'll ignore that. But yeah, we also could use another corner and probably some safeties as well. So yeah, there's still a lot of stuff we need to work on here. So Will Fries, we could bring him in. And then like DeForest Buckner. Actually, Grover Stewart's probably going to be a bit easier to get. And then Kenny Moore would be nice. There's safety situation. We could actually bring in Julian Blackmon. What's Tyler Nubin's overall? He's a 77. So, you know what we'll do? We will take Kenny Moore out of this deal. And then we'll bring in Julian Blackmon and put him at safety. We'll put him at free safety is what I was going to say. So we will trade Jason Pinnock, and then we'll take Evan Neal out of the deal, and then we will put let's see, Elijah Chapman. He'll have the most trade value out of all of our interior guys. So yeah, it doesn't get us much, but let's see if I include a third, 2/3, maybe this deal goes through. Okay, we'll take John Michael Smith out of the deal, and then we'll put, who's my right guard? Actually we'll put in John Runyon. How far does this get me? Okay, maybe if I include like a future second. Do I even have a future second? I do not. Okay, so 3/3. Does this go through? Okay, we'll take Chapman out of the deal. Like, I have like no trade value, man. Like picks wise, because I had to use a lot on that Justin Herbert deal. What if I threw in Daniel Bellinger? They need a tight end. Does this go through? Okay, what I think I need to do is just take out Grover Stewart and then go for Will Fries and Julian Blackmon. So does this go through 2/3? Okay, maybe if I throw in John Runyon, this deal should go through. So put him in the deal. Does this go through? Barely moved at all. So, I mean, 5th, 4th. Oh, I can't even include another 5th. So we'll do this. Does this go through? Okay, maybe if I trade Greg Van Roten instead, then it'll go through. Does this deal go through? There we go. Will Fries, Julian Blackmon, welcome to the team. So we got 3 minutes to go. Well, actually more like 4 minutes, because it's like 3 minutes, 30 seconds. But yeah, we still got plenty of time here to make some moves. So what's like our biggest need? Probably defensive interior. Like, yeah, that's definitely our biggest need. So we can move Azeez Ujulari, and then we could pick up another linebacker. That would be beneficial. And safety, we're good. So we can move Isaiah Simmons. Maybe he has some decent value. And then Deontay Banks, we could also move him. So yeah, let's go pick up some defensive interior guys, preferably 2. So could bring in Harrison Phillips. He's a 77. I'm looking for like at least 85. You know, I guess that's kind of like very optimistic considering I don't have much trade value, but it's worth a try. So if we bring in Ernest Jones and then maybe Tariq Woolen, so we're gonna have to restructure this deal a lot. So Micah McFadden, and then I guess maybe we have to give up Drew Phillips here, which gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. And then they need a center. John Michael Smith, maybe he gets this deal done. So I'm gonna probably have to give up a first here. Maybe not, actually. So third, fifth, yeah, I'm gonna have to give up a first, which I guess is fine. So yeah, I'll put this first in the deal, and then maybe I could get a pick back from them. Maybe I could get like a third and a fourth next year, get a little bit of value back, and maybe I could have asked for more. The trade goes through, but there's 2 minutes left, so we got to make some trades fast here. So let's see what we can do in this last 2 minutes. So we could improve running back, not too concerned about that though. Defensive interior, we do still need one more person on the interior, and then we could use a tackle as well. So yeah, we need to make some moves quick. And then Aziz Ojulari, we can move him. So yeah, corner we're good, and then safety we're good. So yeah, let's look for a tackle and ideally an interior defensive guy. So maybe we could go to the Bills here and get Dion Dawkins, Ed Oliver, maybe, if I include those picks I just got. I mean, it's worth a try, probably pretty unlikely, but will this go through? Not even close. Okay, so we got to move quick and just move on. So Mike McGlinchey, and then could we get Zach Allen, and then I don't know, maybe I'm getting greedy. You know, just these two for this package. Okay, what if I took out Jalen Hyatt and then put Evan Neal? Oh, he's already in the deal. Two right tackles for this deal to go through. Okay, well, maybe what if I just ask for Mike McGlinchey and then John Franklin Myers? Does this deal go through? Okay, well, we got to move on quick. We are running out of time here. So Delvin Tomlinson and Jack Conklin, will this deal go through? All right, there we go. So we got 15 seconds left. Probably can't make any more trades here. That's probably going to be my last trade. So yeah, I mean, unless I can improve like kicker like really quick with, oh yeah, I'm not going to be able to get a deal done. Yeah, that's time here. So alright, we are done rebuilding the New York Giants. I'm going to move a few positions around, and then we will check out what the roster's looking like. And alright, the team is up from, I believe we were a 77 overall, up to an 85 overall, so we did make a big jump in overall. The offense is up to an 84, the defense is up to an 87, so the team is looking a lot better. I did also move Jermaine, I honestly don't know how to pronounce his last name, to left guard. He is 1 overall point above John Runyon. Well, I guess John Runyon does have an upgrade, so I guess technically they're the same overall now. So I guess that's something I did not take into account. But regardless though, this offense is looking a lot better. We brought a new wide receiver in, a new quarterback most importantly, and we improved this offensive line in a big way. And honestly, I did not think to trade for a tight end at all. Theo Johnson at 74 overall, who I think could be pretty good, but I mean, he's only a 74, and this is not a long-term thing, it's just a one-season thing, so we're just going to rock with them. And another thing, I do use the Bengals offensive playbook for these sims just because that's like the best playbook to use, because the success of your team in Madden is very dependent off of what the playbook is, which is extremely stupid, but it's what we got to deal with. So yeah, this is the offense, 84 overall with the Bengals playbook, so it's more like a 95 overall. And then checking out the 87 overall defense, we improved basically every position. We brought in new corners, brought in some new defensive linemen. Delvin Tomlinson is down to a 74. He was a 77 as a defensive tackle, but it's like basically the same thing because he's an interior guy in a 3-4 versus like a defensive tackle in a 4-3, so it's like it's the same thing, which is just another example as to why EA needs to make actual real life position groups into Madden a thing. Like, we just need them to add IDL, edge, ILB, stuff like that. Like, personally at first I was kind of against it, but now after like seeing it for years and years and years, it's time. EA needs to make that change. But that's besides the point. We're not here to trash on Madden, even though I do that in basically every single Madden video I do. But regardless though, we brought in a lot of new talent here. Julian Blackmon, Ernest Jones, Joey Bosa, Asante Samuel, Tariq Woolen, Delvin Tomlinson, and Leonard Williams. So yeah, this defense took a major step forward. I believe it was an 81 overall before, if I'm not mistaken, so these improvements brought it up to an 87. And so yeah, with all that being said, we are going to go ahead and sim through the season here. But before we do that, as always, the record prediction. So my record prediction for this season, I feel like we will go 11-6. We probably won't win the division because the Cowboys are always a very good team. And of course, we're in the same division as them. And the Cowboys are always a very good team in Madden. So we'll probably get like the 5th or 6th seed, going 11-6. As long as we make the playoffs, that's really what matters here. But yeah, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and sim through the season. You guys can comment your record prediction if you would like, and without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and sim through the season. And as the season simulation comes to a close, if you do use Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it, I am on there. If you want to check me out, we got a lot of tweets going on over there. I promote it in like every video, and we go 9-8. That's just amazing. So we just barely miss out on the playoffs, going 9-8. We actually didn't even barely miss out. We would have had to go 11-6 to make the playoffs. So the NFC was very competitive this year. The lowest record was 5-12, and then the second lowest is 7-10. The NFC, why was the NFC so competitive this season? This is probably the best I've ever seen a conference do in like Madden probably history. This conference was so competitive this year, dude. And of course it just happens to be when I'm doing a rebuild of a team in that conference. Like, genuinely speaking, when has the conference ever done this good as a whole? Like, that's actually crazy to me. Out of all of the teams in the NFC, out of all 16 teams here, 5 of them are under 500. And of course this just happens when I'm doing a rebuild. This would never happen if this was just like me doing a franchise by myself. But of course, I do a rebuild and Madden just finds any way to screw me over. But yeah, that is going to be the end of the Giants speed rebuild. That's just so frustrating. We go 9-8 and every NFC team just does good, except for a few other ones, which is just crazy to me. But yeah, that is going to be the end of the Giants speed rebuild. That's so disappointing. That's something you don't see very often, and that's something you see only when you're doing a rebuild. That's just unfortunate, but I guess it is what it is. So yeah, you guys can let me know in the comments which team you guys would like to see me do a speed rebuild of next. I do have a playlist up on my channel of all the previous ones I've done, as well as the ones I've done in 2K25 if you're interested in seeing those as well. I do also have some other Madden 25 content up on my channel. I do franchises, and I also do fantasy draft challenge videos, so if you want to go check those out, those playlists are up on my channel. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you all so much for watching all the way into the end. I really appreciate that. And yeah, thank you all for watching. I will see y'all next time.